Hi guys, I'm back with another example on method of substitution. So let us look at this example number 6. Again, we're going to try to follow these steps and then go from there. Guys, here is the product of two functions. One is an algebraic function and other one is a trig function. Again, we're going to first figure out or decide what we want to substitute. Guys, again, no hard and fast rules, but usually we want to start with something which has a power. So it would make sense here. So as a solution step, the first step, it would make sense to start using let u equals to x squared. Okay. And the other reason, guys, sometimes, why we want to use that as a function is like we also have to be able to see what happens like in the next step. We have to be able to think ahead. So if I take this as my original function, then I know like step number 2 is to find the derivative, and the derivative of this is going to be 2x. So I'm going to be able to get this other term just by taking the derivative. So I decide to use the substitute for the first step. I decide to pick an expression whose derivative is actually on the multiplied to this function. So that is like one other way of kind of thinking or figuring out where you should start with. But most of the times it is the one with which is more complex, or it is the one which has an exponent with it. So here we start with x squared. Step number 2. Step number 2, pretty simple. You take the derivative of this function. Du over dx is simply 2x, and then from here you solve for dx. Guys, I'm going to just skip a step because you already know how to like really cross multiply and then solve for dx. So dx is going to be simply du over 2x. Okay, that is my dx. So I'm going to circle that so that I know like I have to use it, and I'm going to circle this as well. Guys, step 3 is kind of bringing this all together. I'm going to leave that x right there, and then for cosine x squared, well, cosine will stay. And instead of writing x squared, I got to write a u. And then instead of dx, I got to write du over 2x. du over 2x. Right? I'm just substituting, just following the step number 3. From here, guys, most like you will see that things will cross out. Most of the times things will cross out. There might be times when things may not cross out, but I will show you that example as well and how to deal with that as well. But we'll still be kind of following these three steps, okay? So the x and x will cross out. You have a 2 in the downstairs, so I can just already take out that 1/2 outside, because that's what we do with the constants when we are trying to evaluate the integrals. We just simply take them outside the integral sign. So then we are left with only cosine u du. Pretty simple, guys. See, we were not able to like directly find or evaluate the integral of this expression just by looking at it, because it was not just one single expression. It was a product of two different functions. So we decided to use a method of substitution. Following these steps, we were able to condense this into something like this, which only has now one expression, one variable with respect to that particular variable, okay? And we already know what is the integral of cosine. So integral of cosine is, it's going to be 1/2, and then integral of cosine, we know is the sine. And of course, there is a plus c, but keep in mind the original function is in terms of x, so with the final answer should also be in terms of x as well. So it's going to look like 1/2. And then sine of, what do I have here? Sine of u, but u is my x squared. And then there's a plus c. So guys, this should be your final answer. Guys, if you just leave it like this, you are not going to get full credit if you are trying to do it on a quiz or a test. So one has to finally, like once one gets it in this form in terms of u, one has to go back to step number 1 and see what u is in terms of the x, and then substitute it back, and that will be your final answer. So guys, this is example 6. We are still doing substitution. I want to show you a lot of different types of examples in the substitution, but we're still going to be using these 3 steps. As you start doing these examples on your own, guys, you will start getting more confident with them, because again, you just have to follow this like step 1, step 2, step 3, and then of course there's the algebraic techniques, and then there's these rules and things that one has to remember, or one has to use from the formula sheet. Okay, so guys, I will see you in the next video with example number 7.